Well, that's not how you draw it up, folks. The Dallas Mavericks drop Game 1, 109-97, despite no Kawhi Leonard for the Clippers. And to be frank, a 12-point loss doesn't tell the story. He's Jeffrey Cooperstein. I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into our Mavericks Today post-game show. Coop, there's a million places we could start here. Why don't we just start at the beginning? And because I think that's appropriate here.
Yeah.
This team was not ready to play.
And that is shocking to me because Jason Kidd always has his teams ready to play coming out of the gate, and they were not ready, evidenced by that first quarter, the first 16 minutes of the game. They completely no-showed. They were non-competitive, and that is unacceptable, especially in the postseason. And that's why they lost this game. They lost this game because they didn't come out of the gates at all. They didn't come out of the gate slow. They did not come out of the gate until halfway through the second quarter. And speaking of the second quarter, 8 points in that quarter. I mean, that is unbelievable.
All-time bad.
Yeah, we looked it up before we started the postgame show. The record for lowest points in a quarter in NBA history is 5. They're 3 points off that. It was unacceptable any which way you look at it. The 12-point score line at the end of the game doesn't reflect the outcome that we kind of said was going to happen there at the end as well.
Yeah, I got thoughts, a lot of them here, especially on the slow start in just a moment. But stick with us here. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back for Game 2.
26,000 subs. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
I think tomorrow's video we probably talk adjustments for Game 2. We'll come up with something for that because adjustments are going to be needed. Appreciate you guys for helping us reach 26,000. The love and the support is felt. We're trying to be authentic. We get fired up in these games, but hopefully the Mavs can bounce back. We'll kind of flash some stats as we discuss this here. You see Luka's numbers, 33, 13, and 6. I thought he was, I think when you round out the full game, I thought he was good-ish. He started 4 of 9, and then he was down to like 5 of 15. Yeah. But after that, he played pretty well. I do want to just give some overall thoughts about how this team came out, though, Coop, because you and I, and especially me, were proponents of, hey, once you're locked into that top 5, even top 6, like if you can get Luka and Kyrie and even some other key guys some rest, I'm all for it. What I'm not for, though, is if you're going to get some extra rest, is for you to not match their goddamn energy to start this game. We gave you some extra time off. You cannot show up sluggish. Otherwise, hey, from now on, I'm changing that philosophy. Hey, you're going to come out and just dick around for 16 minutes of game time. Yes, they could not make shots. That contributed to it. It's a make and miss league sometimes. They did not match the Clippers' energy for the first quarter and a half. That is unacceptable. You're going to have some clunkers shooting-wise. That's fine. You can't no-show with your energy on the road and not be licking your chops with no Kawhi Leonard on the other side and just go through the motions. That's bullshit. That's unacceptable. If Kidd doesn't address that, it's going to be a long, long series.
You said it as best as I could, man. It's an absolute problem that they came out with that type of energy, and it starts with your leaders. And I know Luka and Kyrie ended up having a good game, but those guys have to be the ones to set the tone early. Man. And they didn't. Kyrie got hot in the third and early in the fourth, as he usually does, because that's kind of what he does. Ended up 10 of 18 from the field, 31 points and 7 boards as well. So overall, it was a decent performance from your 2 stars. Those guys scored 33 and 31, and they outscored the rest of the team by almost double.
I mean, look, when you put the full game into a bucket, they were 21 of 44 for 64 points. That's a solid B+ showing. Yeah. Now, if you watch the flow of the game and understand the context and when a lot of these points were scored, you were down 26 at halftime.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to play loose when you're that far down. So, I think context matters here. So I think it was probably more of like a C+, B- outing from your top 2. But regardless, A, they got to set the tone better. But B, I don't know who it's going to be, Coop, and it's one game, so I'm not going to make it more than just that. Somebody, though, is going to have to run with these boys. And I don't mean you need 25 points from Tim. You need 20 points from PJ. That's not what I'm saying.
As Jason Kidd famously said after Game 2 of Mavs vs. Suns when they went down, someone's got to participate.
Yeah.
I mean, it is embarrassing what's going on here.
Daniel Gafford, I think this is a good place to go, Coop. This was an embarrassing performance.
Embarrassing.
He only ended up playing 14 points because he got in foul trouble early, and he was just so ineffective. 1 for 4, 3 points, 0 rebounds. Had a nice block at the rim on a dunk attempt from Paul George. Other than that play, he did nothing for you. And when you add in the context of what happened on the flip side, Coop, Ivica Zubac, known Mavs killer. What do we talk about leading up to the series? Hey, you got Lively now. You got Gafford. He might get his sometimes, but you can hold your own at that position. Not today. 10 of 17, 20 points, 15 rebounds for Mr. Ivica Zubac. He goes for 20 and 15. Gafford goes for 3 and 0. You add in Lively, who I get hasn't played in 3 weeks. He's had personal stuff. He had 3 points and 4 rebounds. You got your shit packed at the sitter position today.
When you get kicked down, what are you going to do? Are you going to stay down or are you going to get back up? Obviously, the Clippers throw the first punch. Daniel Gafford especially. I mean, my God.
He was awful, man.
And we'll talk about Maxi Kleber in a second, but oh boy. I mean, they need... Are they going to have to play Dwight Powell in this series? I hope not, man. But it was awful from the bigs. You overhauled your bigs this offseason.
And at the trade deadline.
So this doesn't happen, it happened.
You cannot lose at the 5 spot that bad again. Now, are you going to win every game at the 5? Probably not, based on what we saw today. But if you lose that badly, it's going to be a long series. What is your one-word reaction to Game 1? I think lethargic is what I would say. To come out that sluggish when you've got an opportunity to set the tone, just be amped up for a series regardless. You weren't in the goddamn playoffs last year, and Kawhi's out, and you just kind of go through the motions. That's no bueno for me. Give me your one-word reaction to this game. Lots more thoughts to come from Coop and I, but first, got to tell you about our partners and sponsors here on today's show, the best daily fantasy sports app that exists in North America. That, of course, is Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. We came 1.5 total, unit short for Luka Doncic. Points, rebounds, and assists. Or actually half short. He ended up with 52. Typical. We hit the other two, so that's disappointing. Would have cashed in about $45 on a $10 entry. But we're back on the horse tonight, Coop. Let's show the other one we got, because that's the beauty of Prize Picks. You don't have to lock yourself into just one lineup. You can keep it rolling. Corey Seager, we got less than 1.5 total bases. He's been a little sluggish recently. We'll take the less. Ottinger and the boys get going on Monday night. We like more than 25.5 saves for the Dallas Stars goalkeeper. Hopefully they can get off to a better start than the Dallas Mavericks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that deposit match up to $100. Different sports, pick more, pick less, 2 to 6 player entries. It makes blowouts like this more interesting down the stretch. I'll put it that way. So have some fun. Join us. Link and promo code in the comments and description of this video. I talked about Coop having to find a solution at the 5, and I'm scared that Jason Kidd is going to turn the page to Maxi Kleber, who played the most minutes out of your 3 bigs. Some of those were at the 4, but I would say a lot of them were at the 5. 26 minutes, whereas Gafford played 14 and Lively played 19, Coop. 3 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 of 5 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. It's 4-on-5 offensively with him out there, Coop. I don't know, man. Like, if that's the answer, I don't think you have an answer.
Jason Kidd has shown us time and time again, when Maxi Kleber is healthy, he's going to be the guy that closes the game at the 5. Whether that's fair or not, it's just going to be what it's going to be, I guess, and we're going to have to live with it. But in the year of our Lord 2024, Maxi Kleber should not be closing ball games for the Dallas Mavericks.
I mean, you're just asking so much out of Luka and Kyrie, because teams know they don't have to defend Maxi that close. All they have to do is, hey, if he rolls on a pick-and-roll situation, just be within 5 feet of him, because he's not going to look to score. So, I mean, it's really 4, at best, 4.5 on 5 when he's in the game. So you're asking Luka and Kyrie to just consistently cook in ISO, which obviously they can, but I don't like it. He doesn't rebound. He's a good-ish defender. I get it, but like, you're going to need one of Gafford to give, or Lively to give you more in this series. Otherwise, I mean, you're in trouble, because I don't think Maxi is going to give you the production you need. 26 minutes per game, Coop. I think you need that to cut in half if you're going to have a chance to win this series.
You're in big trouble, man. I think you start Derek Lively in game 2, see what he gives you, and then you go to Gafford. But, Jason Kidd, like I said, has shown time and time again, he trusts Maxi Kleber to do the job, and I think you'll see more of him. I don't think you should. I think that should have been the last we see in the rotation. I considered for a brief second that Dwight Powell get in this rotation. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I don't think you can go there because Maxi's going to give you some defense at least. But
I'm just very surprised that we are back at this point where we are considering what their options are at the 5 after we
to
thought
stop
that was a
Ivica goddamn Zubats, man. I mean, how can you not stop this guy? It's unreal. And here's what's also discouraging. Paul George was okay.
He was average.
22 and 6, 8 of 20 from the field. I mean, no Kawhi, and you get your shit packed. I mean, that's disappointing. This is just a killer. I mean, we've mentioned it 50 times already, but you just get killed by this guy.
When he sees that Mavs logo, something turns on in that brain, and it explodes.
It was an easy 22.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
It's not like
he didn't have to work for it.
He didn't have to work that hard. A lot of offensive rebounds, I feel like. Yeah, 4 offensive rebounds. I mean, even when he would miss, they wouldn't clean it up. He'd get his own rebound or someone else would. I mean, it's discouraging, man. It's one game, but this feel like you came into this series not only favored from our opinion standpoint, but from a betting standpoint. After one game, I don't think you're a severe underdog, but you're definitely an underdog.
Now.
I mean, it was that alarming of a performance from the Dallas Mavericks today. And, I think players have to make plays, but you got out-coached by a wide margin.
Circles.
How impactful were Ty Lue's timeouts in this game?
Every timeout Ty Lue called, they ran a fantastic ATO play, and they got an easy bucket. And it was one of the main differences in the game. Ty Lue looked like a coach that was prepared and poised. Jason Kidd did not. There were multiple plays in the first quarter, first half, where Jason Kidd could have used his challenge. He elected not to. Could have swung the game. He didn't use his timeouts either to stop any of the bleeding. I thought Jason Kidd looked like a deer in headlights in this game. And to be frank, I am surprised by that as well, because I thought Jason Kidd had a pretty good year coaching-wise. But, man, it was the alarm bells were sounding in my head after this one.
Graded his coaching job today, A, B, C, D, or F. I think like most of the team, I mean, it's a D or an F. I'm not saying Jason Kidd, if he coaches better, it's a massive change in the result.
But he is just as culpable as anybody else.
I just don't I understand he believes in his players, work yourself out of a rut. I get that to a certain extent, but feel the game a little, dude. The crowd's getting involved. You're not getting good looks offensively. You're sluggish defensively in that first quarter and a half. Do something to leave a mark on the game as the coach. And you're just sitting over there with your arms crossed like this for the whole first half, and you're just dude.
And I know that's his demeanor as we kind of wrap things up here as well. And he, like you said, he empowers his players to kind of just go out there and do it. But, dude, at some point, you got to feel the game slipping away, and you got to do something about it. I don't think he was good enough in Game 1, and I hope that changes in Game 2. A couple of the main adjustment I make is I think you start Derek Lively. I think he gets those minutes to start at least. And I think you play Josh Green in the very limited minutes.
I had the same thought. Gave you some energy defensively.
And that is enough for me to say, all right, I think he needs to play. Tim Hardaway, he wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He was there, and that's about it. I think those are the two main adjustments you make. And, man, you have to come out with a fire under your ass in order to go win this game, too. You got
to play it. Your season's on the line in Game 2.
I said Game 1 was a must-win without Kawhi Leonard. This is an actual must-win now.
And by the way, I don't think Kawhi plays Game 2. And if I'm the Clippers, I'm probably not playing him.
Yeah, agreed.
So, Game 2 is huge. Season potentially on the line. Hit the subscribe button. Tough Game 1 loss. And, again, I will say this. Tomorrow's video, we kind of just gave you a tease. We'll probably look at some potential adjustments that need to be made as a topic of choice because you're going to need them because just running it back with your game 1 plan is not going to work. All right, Mavs lose 109-97. They trail 1-0 in the series. Hopefully a long series to come, but, man, that was a tough start.